Hi, I'm Candy at the Family Foundation of Virginia, and we've all just come from a hearing in the Senate, in a Senate committee, and what we were all there for was this bill that would have put in religious freedom protections for churches and Christian schools to the Virginia Values Act. You might remember that in 2020, this sweeping law called the Virginia Values Act, so-called Values Act, actually did not respect the values of churches and other ministries that had religious viewpoints. And what it did was openly threaten the right of these ministries to be able to operate according to their deeply held religious beliefs, especially when it comes to things like marriage and sexuality and trying to protect the privacy of young women in their church bathrooms and that kind of a thing. And so I've got with me today some folks that came out and bravely and valiantly gave their testimony on why they wanted these religious freedom protections in there. Tell us who you are and what motivated you to come out and speak up. Let's start with you.
Okay. I am Minta Hardman. I'm the administrator of Mountain View Christian Academy in Winchester, Virginia. My husband is the senior evangelist there at the church that is the parent church for our school. And we have a school, a daycare, and of course the church, a Christian college. And so our community is very open to the public. We are very evangelistic based, a New Covenant Christian church. And I guess our concern with the Virginia Values Act was, did it protect us? Or are we going to be considered, public accommodation? And if so, what's going to happen? We can't open our bathrooms and say that men can go into the women's, and so we were really trying to protect that aspect, as well as a Christian school administrator. Our whole core values, our whole basis is to partner with parents to instill in them and in the children a Christ-centered worldview, the Judeo-Christian values that they want their children to have, that our history shows. And so, there's the fear. It doesn't flat out say it, but there's the fear that we're not protected in doing that. And we want to make sure that these parents who trust us to raise and educate the next generation of young people know that we're going to protect those values. The biggest component of that is in the faculty. And I have to be able to have the ability to hire and fire faculty who do not adhere to those core values and that statement of faith. And just not 100% sure that the Virginia Values Act protects that. And
I would go even further and say that not only does it not make it clear there's protection, but it actually targets ministries like yours.
Yeah.
And you did an excellent job speaking up to the senators today, and you made an excellent point that one reason you need these protections is because parents are making the choice.
Absolutely.
They're making a choice to send their kids to your school for a biblical education. And if you can't protect that, you can't give them that choice. And you made that point really well today.
Well, our mission, I always say, we're honored if parents choose us to assist them with their God-given responsibility.
And we got a couple of parents with us right here. Let's start with you. Tell us what made you come out today as a parent.
As a parent, just trying to protect that my children are in really good hands and leaving it to someone like Ms. Hardman and making sure that absolutely we have the values, that the Christ values, and they're protected there.
What's your name and how many kids do you have?
I'm Heather Lockridge, and I have 2 girls that currently attend Mountain View Christian Academy.
So you really had to care about this. How far did you drive today?
About 2.5 hours.
So what made you make a 2.5-hour drive to speak up on this?
Because I'm for parents' rights, and just I'm thankful that I've found a place for my children to go, that my right as a parent is protected, and so I'm by Minta's side and protecting our parents' rights, but also the Christian atmosphere is what we're after.
Exactly. And so we have a father here as well. Tell me your name and how many kids you have going to this school here. And what did we say the name of the school? Right? I think
it's Mountain View Christian Academy, yes.
In Winchester?
In Winchester, right?
Okay.
Yes. My name's Chris Davey. I have one child that attends Mountain View. He's our only child, so. But A lot of stuff that they have said is, of course, correct of what we need to accomplish. Along with that, we need to remember about our already given rights that we have of separation of church and state. That goes right along with all this that we are trying to fight for. Right now, they are trying to impede on that with these different bills that they have passed already. And part of the reason we send our children to a Christian school is to get a Christian education.
Yeah.
And if we can't guarantee that we have Christian teachers, or at least teachers that are lining up with our core values and what we want to, then it's pointless to send our child to a Christian education.
And you keep hearing about separation of church and state, but this is actually the state inserting itself into the church, right?
Yes.
So, well, thank you all for coming out. Every one of them got up and said, I support this bill. Now, we did lose it at this stage. I think there's still more stages to go through maybe in the House, but we did lose it at this stage by one vote. What makes it worth it for you even though we lost by that one vote?
I hope and I pray that our voices were just heard. I think that we all have a tendency, and myself included, I've been there, to just say, well, we'll just sit back and let somebody else do it. But if we're not willing to be the ones to make our voice heard and offer a solution, we can't sit back and criticize and complain.
Exactly, and I will say, I don't think it would have even been as close if they and so many others had not even been there. So your voice made a difference. Thank you so much. So Deacon, what motivated you to take the time to drive out here today and speak up about this?
Well, first and foremost, family, and I really truly believe that all of us, we should be able to actually maintain our religious liberty, and I've also worked with children, so I see this act basically as a place where if they actually didn't approve it, of course, what we're looking at is we would actually have to allow anyone to come into our bathrooms, whether they're male, female, whatever the case may be. And to me, that's just not right. We've already had an incidents all around the state where there's things that are popping up because of the second, third order effect of some of the laws that are already passed.
Well, a lot of church leaders are hesitant to come to the Capitol. They just feel like maybe that's too tainted with politics, or, they don't want to confuse church members when they speak out. What motivated you that this is important as a church leader, that your voice needs to be heard in front of those senators?
Well, I'll tell you first was when we had Governor Northam was in office and we're getting ready to happen with the new election, and then we had McCullough. He actually came up and just stated just that parents, that we didn't even have a right to say what our children can or cannot do. So that actually caused me to stand up. I'm like, okay, we just got a lot of things going on. But not only that, just the biblical tenets, that we hold. They're foundational, they're principle, and we're teaching that. So we don't want to leave a legacy of just a crumbling foundation. So yeah, it just made me stand up, and I'm just like, I got to fight. Otherwise, actually our past or our future is going to look real bleak.
What happens when voices like yours are not there? Like if today your voice is just not there, what would your encouragement be to pastors that they're needed?
Well, first and foremost, I would say pastors, it's time to stand up. The Lord has really given each of us a position to be able to speak to the public. But not only that, we have a civic duty to uphold. So I would say stand up. It's time to stand up.
And what is your takeaway, even though, we lost by one vote, what made it worth it for you today?
What made it worth it for me was just to see that if just a few of us stand up, what can happen if all of us stood up? Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you, Candy.
Thank you.